Philanthropy personified. I see the marks of God in the heaven and the earth, but how much more in a liberal intellect, in magnanimity, in unconquerable rectitude, in a philanthropy which forgives every wrong and which never despairs of the cause of Christ and human virtue. I do, and I must reverence human nature. I thank God that my own lot is bound up with that of the human race. William Ellery Channing. There are people in the world who act as benefactors with an ulterior motive of advertisement, gaining cheap popularity. In contrast, amidst those who gave in millions for the welfare of humanity, John Davidson Rockefeller stands like a colossus. On 8 July 1839, Rockefeller was born in Richford, Tioga County, New York, to inculcate high moral values in him. He was brought up as a strict Baptist. He grew in humble circumstances, spending his days in Cleveland, Ohio. Rockefeller preferred to do a degree in business after high school. Subsequently, he took up a job as an accountant in a trading organization. Apart from being loyal to his employer, he went a step forward and advised that a new venture for refining kerosene from oil could be started. When he was 28, Rockefeller became the major partner of the company. This budding enterprise later grew as a large banyan tree christened as Standard Oil Company in the year 1870 in Ohio. It was Rockefeller who created the modern petroleum industry. His company had operations throughout the world. No wonder he became the richest around the globe, of worth more than $1 billion. In his late 50s, Rockefeller made investments in New York commercial banking and iron ore mining. Opulence smiled all the more. A man's greatness can be gauged by his actions during his days of penury or luxury. Rockefeller, falling under the second slot, thought of world civilization transcending the borders of language, race, and nation. While oil business was his primary activity, engaging himself in the vast expanse of philanthropy turned out to be his ultimate zeal. Today and in any day in future, the world will remember and salute Rockefeller for his munificence. Obviously, he will be remembered as a philanthropist par excellence. In preference to a famous tycoon, he donated in abundance for the cause of education, research, and improvement of medical practice in America. The Rockefeller Foundation was a center taking care of channeling the funds for benefaction. Many anecdotes could be recalled with pleasure, which were representative of sparks of wisdom from that great American. One day he was having his evening stroll. As he was walking, he noticed a well-built young man attempting to commit suicide. Struck by that sight, Rockefeller rushed to him and stopped the action. The billionaire questioned the young man the reason for his act, for which pat came the reply stating that he could not get job even though he was well qualified. In continuation, the youth questioned Rockefeller as who was he to stop him. Smiling, the noble man introduced himself. The youth, with his eyebrows raising, told Rockefeller that if he could give all his riches to him, then he would no longer be desperate in life. Agreeing to his request, Rockefeller told him that in return his desire should be fulfilled. The young man wondered, as a poor man, what could he give to a rich man. Then came the request from Rockefeller, who asked the young man to give his priceless youth to him in return to all his riches. Further, he added that the riches could never be equated with the youthful days of a person. Having taught this important truth, Rockefeller put the young man in a suitable job. Once in his old age, Rockefeller was traveling in an aircraft. A young man sitting by his side asked him as why he was working hard in his old age, particularly when he had amassed wealth. Rockefeller was all in smiles and gave a thought-provoking explanation. When the aircraft was flying at a high altitude, why should not the engines be stopped was the query posed to the co-passenger by Rockefeller. Blushingly, the youth replied that the plane would fall and break into pieces. Waiting for this reply, Rockefeller explained that the life like travel in a plane would need continuous working, and when once the activities were stopped, both body and mind would get eroded, leading to fall in health and the consequent disappearance of happiness. The imminent disaster in the form of death would be the final stage. With the above episode, Rockefeller taught an important lesson that one should be active throughout life. Once, few college students visited Rockefeller with an intention to collect donation for constructing a lecture hall in their institution. It was night time. He was busy reading a book in a dim light. Seeing the students, he put out the light and started talking to them. His act made them to conclude that Rockefeller should be a miser to the core. After listening to their request, the rich man gave a check for a substantial amount. Surprised at this, one of them asked Rockefeller as why he switched off the light at his study table when they entered his room. The reply given to them was a great lesson to everyone in the world. The rich man's contention was that the light at his study table was not needed when he was going to converse with them. By putting out the lamp, he could save some cents. Drops making an ocean could be substantial saving in the long run. Finally, Rockefeller added that one should know the distinction between frugality and miserliness.